I'm just calling to say
Alright guys, what is up? Rage Quitting here, back with another video for you guys. 7.1 is out now, augments are working now. There's a new tactical for Carnage Marauder, so with all this new stuff, I thought there should be a new guide, and this is one of the builds that I've been testing recently since the new patch has launched. I will make more guides for different builds, but this one I'm going to specifically focus on this one build that I've been using recently in Warzones, and I'll show you a couple clips here, or maybe I already showed it. For the intro of this video, but there's a couple clips here where I can get 92k hits with Vicious Throw. So the way we're going to do this build, let me just go ahead and jump into the gear first. So the gear is like the same as last time, right? Except now you can upgrade with the PvP vendors to 328. So make sure you upgrade all your stuff first before you throw your augments in, because, you know, once you upgrade with your augments, I'm pretty sure the augments are just going to magically disappear and you're going to cry because they're really expensive. So I didn't do that for some of my pieces, so I have to remember to take these augments out before I upgrade. But anyway, moving on from that, we're still running 105% accuracy above, you know, the 8% alacrity that you can get. So 8% alacrity, if you can manage that. I just keep the one extra piece of alacrity here just because when I switch from Carnage to Fury or to Annihilation, I don't want to have to mess with my gear. So in Fury and in Annihilation, I have the right amount of, you know, minimum required alacrity, which is around 8%. But when I switch into Carnage, I get an extra bump in alacrity because Carnage just gets that. But anyway, I don't care to change my gear. So this is the alacrity that we're running, but you could pass with around 8%, you know, as long as you're above the 7.14% in alacrity. And then most of my augments, I went ahead and used crit augments. So I have 35% crit chance here. I could get more. I have some power augments in here as well. But once again, I didn't really min-max and test things with the augments. I just had a whole bunch of extra augments in my bank. So I just threw the crit ones on there. Okay, you can do with it what you like. I might test out a high alacrity build, but I'm really liking the crit right now because that enables you, you know, to get the big hits. So this is the stats for the tactical. We're going to use the Shard of Mortis. You know, I always like to use Defel Splice Genes for Marauder just because it has more survivability. But, you know, we're going to test this the new thing. So we have a little bit less survivability on our own because, you know, you can't just abuse the camouflage, you know, in and out of combat all the time. So, you know, it's a trade-off. You try to do more damage or you try to stay alive. Typically, I think staying alive makes it so that you end up doing more damage, but, you know, that's beside the point. New tactical, new patch, we're going to test this, right? So we're using the Shard of Mortis. We're using Mastery Power Relics. And then we're using Dispatcher's Package. This is a really big key part of this build, okay? So Dispatcher's Package with the Fearless Victor as well. And then for the combat style here, everything is normal, right? So we're taking Driving Gore. You can use Berserk Gore if you want, because spamming Gore on people is useful too. You know, especially classes that really need to get away from you, like operatives or snipers and stuff like that. You can just gore, and they can't get away from you. But we're using Driving Gore. Predation as always for the movement speed. Massacre, Frenzied Blade for the increased crit chance on Massacre because we're going to be using Massacre a lot. And then now we're going to use Furious Power. So they reduced the recharge time of Furious Power. Now it's down. I think it's a baseline 15 seconds, but because of my alacrity, I get it down to 13.6. So Furious Power is a big part of the rotation here for this build, and it's the reason why you can get huge hits with Vicious Throw. So we're going to take Furious Power. Moving up here, we still like Double Leap. AoE damage reduction from this is really nice too, if you're going to be stacking on a bunch of people and, you know, trying to cleave or whatever. But typically, as a Carnage Marauder, I really don't like being in the middle of huge packs of people that are just spamming AoE. It doesn't really benefit me since Carnage doesn't have like the best AoE anyway, unless you're all you can do is really spam sweeping slashes. But, you know, that's kind of a brain dead playstyle. I like to do it sometimes, but for this, we're not going to do that. We're just going to take Double Leap and then, you know, Blood Ward. And then for this one, I chose to take Force Choke. And reason being is the rotation that we're going to use here takes a lot of ramp up. Okay, because the way that the new tactical, you know, works, every time you do damage with Massacre, you build stacks. So at 3 stacks, you have 75% increased crit chance. But if you use that on an ability that already has 100% crit chance, it actually increases the damage as well. So it's another multiplier on top of your auto crit. So typically what you want to do here is you want to build 3 stacks by using 3 massacres, and then we're going to hit ferocity, we're going to hit furious power, and then we're going to let the vicious throw go, and the vicious throw is going to hit really hard. But a lot of the times, especially if you're going against operatives, which, you know, they're everywhere, operatives or snipers, things that can easily get away from you by the time you're ready to let your big damage go, they're probably going to get away from you, and you're going to miss your chance to let that vicious throw go, because nobody's going to just stand there and let you hit them, you know, 3 times with the massacre and then your next big attacks, right? As soon as you jump on somebody, typically they're trying to get away from you. So in order to stop that from happening, we're taking force choke just to, you know, keep them in place so that you can get your damage off, okay? And the trick here with force choke is you kind of want to try to use it within a berserk window as well, because the cooldown on it is 54 seconds. If you use it during berserk, you can drastically lower the cooldown of force choke so you can use it more often, right? So let me go ahead and show you that on a dummy here. At the start of the match, you always want to make sure that you build your 30 stacks of fury here so that you can use your berserk, right? So check out the cooldown of force choke. It's 54 seconds. If I use berserk and then use force choke, now it's on a 42-second cooldown. So try to make this a habit. Every time you have berserk up and your choke is ready, make sure you use your choke during that berserk window, and then you can get the cooldown shortened by, you know, what is it, like 13 seconds? Not bad, not bad. Okay, so shorter cooldown on choke. So we're going to take choke. We're going to try to use it as often as we can during berserk windows to keep our opponents still so that we can get our damage off. And then we're going to take brazen, increases your damage reduction and your fury building when attacking. So this just helps get more berserks off more often and help you build your stacks of fury. Okay, so with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the actual rotation. So once again, if you don't know how this works, you know, the Shard of Mortis, you build stacks with Massacre. It only lasts for 6 seconds. So if after you keep refreshing them, let's say you use a Massacre once, you'll have a buff with 1 stack for 6 seconds. If you hit another Massacre, it'll refresh that 6 seconds, but now you have 2 stacks, right? But if you do any other abilities in between, it'll get rid of those stacks on the next ability, right? So let's say I do a couple Massacres, but then I forget that I'm low on rage and I have to use Battering Assault. Well, then if I use Battering Assault, it's going to consume the stacks on the Battering Assault. So before you start spamming this and you're getting ready to let go of your heavy hitting ability, you need to make sure that you have a full amount of, rage. You can have maybe around half or like 70% of your rage if you're going to use Berserk, because Berserk makes your abilities cost less, so it won't really drain your rage all that much. But anyway, so we're going to use the Dispatcher's package with the Shard, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to leap in, we're going to dual saber throw, because Dispatcher's package, activating dual saber throw grants Dispatcher's challenge, making your next vicious throw auto crit. We leap in, we dual saber throw, and then when we proc our vicious throw off of our massacres, that next vicious throw is going to be a guaranteed crit. But we're going to stack that guaranteed crit with 3 shards of Mortis, plus ferocity, plus furious power. So that's a lot of multipliers on a single ability. So then we're going to get all that ready and then hit all the buffs, let the vicious throw go, and then you can just continue with the rotation as normal. So you would do a vicious throw into a devastating blast into a gore or something like that, right? During that ferocity window. All right, guys, so for the rotation here, you want to make sure that you get the dual saber throw off early before you start building your stacks with your massacres. Also, if you're going to do a force choke, you want to also do that early before you build with the massacre, because it'll eat the stacks of the shard. Also, the force choke will also eat the stacks of Shard of Mortis. So if you don't want that happening, you want to make sure that you do it first before you start building stacks, or else you're going to have to start all over with the stack building, right? So we're going to go ahead and run through the rotation here on the dummy. So make sure that you have your stacks of fury up so that you can use Berserk, okay? And what we're going to do here is going to leap, dual saber throw, choke if you want to, okay? Or you probably want to choke after you Battering Assault. So we're going to get all of our rage up first. Leap, dual saber throw, Battering Assault, Berserk, choke, 3 massacres, and then furious power, ferocity, vicious throw. And then you can follow up the rest of the rotation like how you normally would with Devastating Blast into a gore, and then, do it all over again when everything is ready. So here we go. All right, so we're going to leap. dual saber throw, battering assault, get our stuff up. Then we're going to berserk choke, okay, and then we're going to 1, 2, 3 ferocity, furious power, devastating blast, or vicious throw, DB, gore, okay, and that's pretty much it. So that vicious throw following is going to hit very, very hard, and then you can continue with DB, gore, and then refresh the rotation again. So I'll try to do it here a couple times and see how it goes. Okay, we're gonna build stacks again, and then probably on the, you can hit frenzy after your first berserk is done and continue the rotation from there if you want more alacrity, right? Get a double berserk opener here. Okay, so here we go. Leap, dual saber throw, battering assault, berserk choke, okay, and then 1, 2, 3 furious power, ferocity, vicious throw, DB, gore, and now we're just gonna do fillers, battering assault to get our rage back, okay, and then now vicious throw is off, or dual saber throw is off cooldown, so use that, and then 1, 2, 3 furious power, ferocity, vicious throw, DB, gore, okay, and rinse and repeat just like that. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on another one. Peace.
I'm just calling to say I